Hello and welcome to today's edition of the Reaction Show with me, Kaji Kopen. The World Cup fever is almost getting into my pulses and my spine. I'm enjoying it. I'm like, it's been great. Like, I think this 2026 World Cup has been one of the best, even though it has been devoid of a lot of intrinsic reactions, if I would put it that way. But hey, it has been fun. I've enjoyed it. And I don't know, maybe perhaps Ghana is still in the competition, and I'm just hoping that they can just progress to the next stage of the competition. But until then, let's discuss what we have on the table. We are looking at national team that have performed from the group stages to the round of 32 and how far they can go. We are looking at least we know that some nations will go, some won't go. Whether you like it or not, we have big accounts in there who would just that thing, they have that capacity to just flourish at the highest level. Unlike what we've seen our African teams do, you would say. So by the mention of the African teams, let's look at what Africa has done at the World Cup. We had 10 representatives at the World Cup. Phenomenal, good, great. It was great for Africa's pedigree. 54 nations, 10 making an appearance at the World Cup for the first time. Quite interesting. We had new debutants in there, the likes of Cape Verde. It was nice seeing them there. They are still in there. Tonight they are playing against Argentina. One would say that, okay, we live to see, because they've blown everybody away, playing draw, a 0-0 draw against Spain, seeking 2-2 draw against Uruguay, a former champion, and then their last game, taking it all again by another draw. So 3 points, good 2 clean sheet, enough for them to qualify. Now, look, let's get into it. Business now. The German national team have played so well. I've enjoyed them, right? You would say that why are they not flourishing at the highest level? I think I would want to compare their storyline to what Croatia since their appearance at the World Cup. I think this is their 7th appearance at the World Cup. Have done. 90 broke into the scene with the like of Divock, Yoshuka, yes, made great exploit at the World Cup. Went straight ahead to clinch 3rd place at that World Cup. Then subsequently failed to qualify out of the group 3 times. Then the rest is history until they bounce back again. For me, that's how life is. Go down, come back again. But one thing the German national team have failed to accept is that they are still not there. So I'm happy to hear the likes of Toni Kroos talk about, yes, we have potential great guys in the team, but then they are not great guys, and there's a difference between your potential and you are the real deal itself. If you pick the German national team, you will realize that, hey, the likes of Florian Wirtz with the likes of Jamal Musiala, and then the likes of, look, these are good guys. If you pick Kimmich, who can play as a makeshift right back, play in a midfield role, he enjoys playing, then still shows that yes, he's that leader, he's got it. In the defensive pair, so you have the likes of Rudiger, Jonathan Tah. Look, the guys are there, but they were also not lucky along the line. Losing the likes of Slotterbeck to injury was bad news to them. But one thing also stood out in that German team performance. The German machine itself has now lacked that proper progression. If I say proper progression in that midfield role, they are losing that touch. The player who can just pick up the ball and draw the team forward, take the team forward, let's go, keep the ball running. The German national team over the years have failed to find proper replacement for the likes of Toni Kroos, whose one-time pass could just split up a whole defense. So if you look at that German team making an appearance in the 2014 World Cup, or against Brazil. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Smashing them by 7. If you look at that team properly, you would realize that there was this balance. There was a needed balance. It wasn't just about them having a team. They had a team. The synergy was there. Everything was good. But the truth is that they had a team. That bonding was there. If you have Muller, who can play as a second striker, good in scoring goals. He had the experience of the all-time top goal scorer at the FIFA World Cup for the national team, the German national team itself. Until recently, where we had the likes of Messi and Mbappe taking over close, you realize that the German national team had goals. They had a lot of goals in them. This time, when they even struggled to score goals. And this is not what you need if you're a team and you want to win the World Cup. This is not what you need. You needed a lot more than what you are thinking about. Now, for the German national team, news coming in now is that Julian Nagelsmann, for me, I believe in his principles, and he's a man of principles as well. You could see it clearly. He has stepped down. He has resigned as a head coach of the team, because if you listen to him at the post-match presser, he says if you're a team and you can't beat the likes of Ivory Coast, if you struggle against the likes of Ivory Coast, plus many other teams that they played against, you would have to know that you are not a top team. That's where you are not at that top level. You are not that first class team to be punching your head over. So for him, he accepts this as one that, yes, the German national team losing out or getting eliminated in such a fashion, it wasn't surprising, but then it was disappointing at the same time too. So, hey, and news also coming in is that if you've missed Jurgen Klopp, right, from his days of the Borussia Dortmund days to Liverpool, to saying I'm tired of football, let me rest for a while, he's quite close to getting back to football. But this time around, he's heading straight into national team football. I think the national team football is catching a lot of crowds very soon. I would say that Ancelotti should be wary that his colleagues are heading back to where he is now. Jurgen Klopp might just be taking the German national team from where Nagelsmann ended things from, and I would want to expect Jurgen Klopp doing quite a different number of stuff from what Nagelsmann had done. Now let's move away from the German national team conversation and come back to Africa itself. There is no time, but I'll try and touch on Africa. Africa presented 10 teams to the World Cup. After the first group games, or the first 3 group games, we had 9 of our teams qualifying into the next stage of the competition. That's around 32 knockout stage. But one thing we also didn't take note of is this: most of our teams back qualification into the round of 32 based on the fact that they're one of the best third place teams in the tournament. So from the likes of Ghana to South Africa, everybody thought South Africa was up because they weren't playing well, but they still find a way to qualify into the next stage of the competition. Plus many other teams who qualify through the slots of third place team. Remember, Cape Verde, who were second place in their group, qualified based on the fact that they were not conceding so much. So they had 3 points plus clean goal conceding rate, because they had played 2-2 with I think Uruguay, and aside that they hadn't conceded any goals. So that was a good performance from Cape Verde. So they qualified out of the group as the second best placed team and all that. Now heading into the group stages, the knockout stage, you realize that Africa at some point, every first half performance from all the teams that have been disqualified or eliminated from the group were phenomenal performances, amazing performances that you would have thought that if they had held their grounds and not dropped the ball, we would have seen something much better than what they've given to us. But hey, Africa has continued to be Africa, and I've heard people say it's just the mentality thing. I think that it is way beyond the mentality thing for Senegal. it is way beyond the mentality. They had everything. I think it was from the position of, look, you can't head into a tournament like the World Cup and still assume that your national team head coach, who is out of contract for months before heading into the World Cup, is still out of contract, and think that, look, the off the ball issues with the African teams are becoming too many, and at most of the times it affects them in major tournaments. When do you think the Brazilian national team will head into a World Cup with issues with off the pitch issues, like Ancelotti taking the Brazil national team to the World Cup, and they don't have a contract with Ancelotti. Brazil doesn't have a contract with Ancelotti, but based on the fact that Ancelotti is somewhat, let's say, a Brazilian, right? Let's just assume that it won't work. It doesn't work that way. As of now, the Senegalese Football Federation are still owing the players some bonuses, and these players are only playing based on the fact that they have that pride to still play and keep on playing. Ghana will take a team to the World Cup, and all they can think about is sweep all public officials, politicians, public servants to the World Cup. And what they do is they term some high public officers, and these are the guys trooping in and out of the team camp. All these things are distractions. We are going to see it in their game against Colombia. It's going to be that clear, very glaring, and to be gazing at our faces, and at the end of the day, we'll turn around and say that, why did we drop the ball? We dropped the ball because of a mentality mindset. It's not that. It's way beyond that. Our psyche heading into a game, look, it is solely on the professionals, the team psychologists, the team manager. That is why we are paying them. These guys are professionals. They don't need your advice. These things are cake. For me, it is a no-brainer for me. In 2026, professional players have been grouped up. 26-man squad being spearheaded under the auspices of Carlos Queiroz, and you see a certain king, a certain speaker of parliament, a certain politician. With all due respect, they are not the professionals. They are not the psychologists. This is not the usual thing we do now at various homes when a child wants to go back to school, or a child has gained admission to a certain school. Your dad and your mom will sit you down. Say, if you go do this, do that, don't do this, don't engage in this. They are not kids. It is high time we pay attention to stuff like that. Even if we want to do it, we should stop the camera and the aesthetics. It should not be done. It's not done. This is what I have for you. The team is still in camp. We are still hoping that Black Stars will do something interesting against Colombia. For me, I'm expecting them to stay compact, disciplined, get stuck to the game plan, keep on and keeping on. And I think that one thing you should also learn, the moment you start defending, that is your game plan, but take every given opportunity in scoring the goal. That half chances, that 50-50 chance, bury them off, punish your opponent, and move on. This is where we bring an end to today's edition of The Reaction. Thanks for joining me, and I'm out. Bye.